You have arrived here at the Game Hump. Our regularly scheduled program is no longer in session. Now you are here with the Game Huggers, with Ope, and with Joshua Turbo, or just Joshua Yeager. We're here. It is not a Wednesday night, but it is a Tuesday night. We're doing the Game Hump this week a day earlier because, man alive, it is Midwest Gaming Classic Week here in central Wisconsin. We're getting excited. I'm not central Wisconsin. What am I talking about? Not central Wisconsin. This is like Milwaukee. I live in central Wisconsin. Ha ha ha. Now I'm gonna have all the stalkers come and find me. But it's the Midwest Classic down in Milwaukee, and it's in a couple days, and we're getting kind of excited for it. And the reason why I am starting this episode of the podcast one day earlier this week is to get everything packed and prepared for that trip we're doing on Thursday. So here we are. Ope, how are you feeling, sir?
Hey, man. Feeling pretty good. How about yourself? How's that kiddo doing?
Holy crap. The kid is awesome. She's actually amazing. Like last night she got up 3 or 4 times in the middle of the night. And that was, I want to say 10:30, midnight, 2, and then like 4:30 or something like that. And that was the most she had gotten up the whole time that we've had her so far. Usually she's on a schedule of falling asleep around 8 and waking up at midnight until about 1:30, so about an hour in the middle of the night, and then she sleeps again until 6. So that's a pretty good schedule for like a 2-week-old baby.
You got this down pat, don't you?
Yeah. We've had a lot of practice with this, so got the baby. That's right. I don't know if I did that announcement last week or not, but my wife and I had our child, and she is doing really well, and things are going good.
Congrats.
Thanks, man. It'll be Ope, myself, and Saru Marusan joining us this week, and we're going to talk about game gatherings, conventions, or just events in general that you attend in the gaming realm, in the community of video games or retro games or whatever you want to call it. So with the Midwest Classic coming up this week, I figured it would make sense to start with that. Ope, you just informed me that you will not be able to attend this year's Midwest Classic. Why is that? I'm so sad to hear this.
Oh, that's I missed 2014 as well, so I don't know. Just things came up out of my control, and I'm gonna definitely pro tip book in December.
Oh my gosh, yeah. The hotel situation is getting really bad.
It's all gone by the end of January.
Yeah. I'm lucky I'm a part of the event staff and I don't have to worry about the hotel stuff, but it's
back with Beamer, so I didn't want to. I don't know. I feel weird asking JD, because like I don't know if he likes me or not.
Oh, he likes you. You know, it's interesting because I always kind of thought the same thing about like some of the guys that I bring. If it's like imposing kind of, because I bring like a pack of like four or 5 people. But gosh. I think it was 2014 when I brought the same amount of people, but I only got tickets comped for like one of them as my +1. And when we arrived, JD kind of walked over and he's like, "Hey, what about why are you getting in line to buy tickets?" And we were like, "Well, they didn't want to impose and say all these people are gonna get a free ticket or whatever." And he was like, "No, everybody gets in. These guys are helping. That's great, So I mean, the event is getting bigger and the tickets are getting more expensive, and they're still willing to give tickets to people that are helping out. So that's really cool. I like getting free tickets.
Okay, I won't feel so bad. I'll ask him. When I asked him for an extra T-shirt that one year, he kind of was like, "No," and I saw like stacks of T-shirts.
They still have stacks of those T-shirts. The event staff T-shirts.
There's no way they gave me those. The extra small. He gave out all the extra smalls.
Yeah, it's interesting because they're going to give us a new shirt this year, or like some kind of new item this year that we get to wear on Saturday. But we're supposed to still use the same yellow shirts that we got like 2 or 3 years ago.
Blue
for Friday night. I have a blue one. That was the 10-year anniversary. I think that was 2013. Was the blue ones.
That was what it was. I didn't get a shirt that year. I got the yellow one though.
Yeah, it's the one. That's the one we have to wear on Fridays because they're going to be doing a new Friday 6 to 10 p.m. event, or like for the VIGs, very important gamers. But
Pretty
like,
fun.
what was that?
What they did last year, the whole tournament that you played a game, you did
Yep.
like Smash Brothers and
Yep.
the trivia thing. It was their idea. That was pretty fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So yeah, hopefully it goes just as well this year. We're going to do Turbo Fest, starting that on Friday night at 6 p.m. I mean, honestly, we'll probably start that a lot earlier than that. Having stuff going on, we're going to start giving away some of the prizes that we have on Friday night. But yeah, it's looking like it's going to be a big show. And just talking a little bit too. Sarumaru, you've joined us. Hello, sir.
Oh, I have joined you. In the
Hey,
nick
man.
of time, too.
How are you doing?
Good. How are you guys? I see an Opie has appeared. A wild Opie.
He's super effective.
Yep. Super elusive. Elusive Opies.
So we were chatting a little bit about hotel issues. Did you get your hotel and everything booked, Saru?
I did. I got mine like 3 miles away, so I'm going to rent a car that I can get to the venue.
Good call.
Yeah.
Very cool. The area itself, and like you said, you get a hotel 3 miles away. That's, I mean, it's interesting because this convention is getting bigger and bigger, and right now I think it's like the biggest gaming event in all of Wisconsin. There's a couple other smaller smaller conventions that are in bigger venues, and one of them that will be at the Midwest Classic is called the Nexus Game Fair. They've been pulling between like 2,500 and 3,000 people the last couple of years, and it's in its like third year now. I think 2016 will be its third year, and it's in like Milwaukee, downtown Milwaukee, and what's it called, the Mecca or something like that. And that
Right.
place can hold like 30,000 people easy. It's the same venue that they used to do Gen Con in Milwaukee.
Cool.
Yeah, so it's a big area and it can handle a lot of space. And a few years ago, there was a rumor that the Midwest Classic was going to move there, and this bargain they got for the Brookfield hotel on the outside of town in Milwaukee kind of made the guys at MGC want to stay in the hotel. And this is just what I've heard over the grapevine or whatever. And they wanted to keep them there, and the idea was they were going to build a convention center at this hotel. So
Oh, wow.
it's like, tough it out here in this little hotel for a while, and you guys continue to grow, and it is continuing to grow, and we'll get this convention center up, and once we do, we're going to make it so that you guys are our main attraction every year, and we're going to, a real serious, like, good deal for both sides. And I think the MGC guys were really excited about that. And it's interesting, though, because now I think it's been 3 or 4 years since that whole conversation happened, and MGC has definitely outgrown the hotel, and you will notice this weekend because they've basically taken over 2 floors of a hotel. I mean, they're using convention events and stuff in hotel rooms.
Oh, wow.
They have all of the vendors are in outdoor circus tents. And the high for now, you're in Vegas, so what was your weather like today?
It's like 60 degrees out.
The high for Saturday is 38, and it's outdoors. The vendors are outdoors. So bring a winter coat because it's going to be chilly.
That sounds gross.
Oh, it's awful. It's miserable. We've like, it was really weird because in March we had 50s and 60s for like the last 2 weeks of March, and something happened and we just have not been able to get over 40 degrees in the last like 2 weeks, and now it's just been really ugly. And now they're predicting, well, today and tomorrow is supposed to be snowing, and then the whole weekend it's going to be like high 30s or low 40s for the Midwest Classic.
Yeesh.
And all the vendors are outdoors, so
I don't even own a winter coat. So
well, it's
I'm gonna have to come in layers.
Buy one at the
Yeah.
airport, dude.
Yeah, there you go. 2 years ago, in 2014, that was the one that Ope missed. Man, it was freezing rain almost the whole weekend, and it was really cold and really windy, and they had a really terrible winter storm on Sunday, and I drove home in that, and it took me almost 6 hours to get home. It was the most ridiculous drive. It was just super miserable. So it's like, what the hell's wrong with this weekend? Why can't they? The weather is just, the weather gods are all pissy about it. But
earlier too, like it was like the 19th last year.
yeah, it's weird, and they've done it in the end of March once or twice too. They did it March 15th. They did it March 15th in 2013, and the only reason I remember that so well is because that was the exact same day that I was closing on my house, so I actually missed MGC that week.
Oh wow!
I was so sad.
I was there.
Yeah, you were there. That was the year you were there, and then I was there the next year, and you weren't there. So I was like, dang it, didn't get to hang out. But yeah, the outdoor vending is an issue, and I keep hoping they're gonna get it better. But the last 2 years they've done the outdoor vending with the tents. They do have them like, they're blocked off. They have the plastic sheeting over the edges, so nothing can, the wind's not like just cutting right through the whole thing, and magazines and games aren't flying in the wind or anything like that. But they do have some spots. It's on a parking lot, so the parking lot isn't exactly flat. It has some dips and it's got some hilly parts to it. So if it rains and the puddles start to kind of drift through like underneath the tent there, you could be walking through puddles. You could be walking. I mean, it's almost got that like flea market feel to it then, with it being like outdoors like that.
Sounds terrible. Sounds like I'm gonna spend most of my time in the turbo room.
The turbo room is perfect. It's indoors. It's nice and warm, and it's a blast in there.
There's gonna be stuff for sale in there, I promise you.
In the turbo room?
Yeah, man. I gave away a bunch of shit last year.
Really? Gave away?
I said, here you go.
Well, now I'm excited. I didn't know that.
Yeah, you didn't. You were. I guess you. It was It was on Sunday.
Yeah, we've had at Turbo Fests in the past. Usually when Beamer's there, there's a few other guys that come too. But there's usually like guys who bring trade boxes, and I got some. I'll bring a box of stuff that I want to trade away or whatever. And usually like it's just like trade it for a beer or like a handshake or something like just take this crap, I don't want it anymore. But that's always fun. I usually pick up more things from other gamers than I do from the vendor hall, just because the vendors out there, it's not like a flea market where they're just trying to get rid of shit and they don't even know what they have. All the vendors know what they have.
Yeah.
They all know what they have. They know what things are worth. They got game shops, from all around the Midwest, and
they just look it up on eBay real quick.
Right.
I shouldn't say that and be all negative, because I don't want people listening to this or watching this thinking, God, like, what the fuck would I come to Midwest Classic for?
No,
but it's
man, Windy Gaming. Shop at Windy Gaming.
Just go to Windy Games, go to Johnny C's. I got a couple friends that are good vendors at Midwest Classic. They always give me really good deals. Carlton. I mean, you'll never see some of the rarest and the high quality of PC Engine stuff that Carlton's got. Mad Gear, isn't he Mad Gear or 16-bit? I think on eBay. Yep, he's there.
16-bit on eBay.
Yeah, his stuff is really good, and he always gives me some good deals too. He used to do a thing where he had like cheap boxes of like $5 games and stuff, and his quality was just stuff he's trying to clear out. And the way he keeps his games and stuff in such good condition, it was always like really cool to go through. But I digress. Anyway. What are some games that you guys are playing lately? Any good fun things?
Let me see.
Any exciting things? I played a little bit of Koryun.
It's a good one.
That is a really good game. That's really fun.
But I've been playing.
One of my favorite shooters.
I also played a whole bunch of read-only memories on Steam on Linux. And the reason I was playing so much of that is because my wife and I were in the hospital, with the new baby and all. We were in the hospital for 3 days, and I brought my laptop with me, and I wound up getting through a whole big chunk of read-only memories, and I'm really impressed with it. It's not a TurboGrafx game, but it's actually really, really, really fun.
It looks cool. It's like...
What's that?
Is it an RPG? What is it?
So read-only memories, and it's like ROM for short. It's a kind of like a tribute. It's a new game on Steam. It came out last year, and it's kind of like a tribute to games like Snatcher or any kind of point-and-click adventure games. It has, it's very much got like a lot of Snatcher-esque things in it. It's very not dark though. There's a little bit of swearing here and there, but there's no gore or violence, at least not what I've seen so far. It's really like, it's really focused on multiple branch conversations and doing good versus doing evil and responding to people, and it gives you a lot. So you're reading a lot of dialogue, but the music's really cool. It's got like 8-bit and 16-bit sounds to it. The graphics are awesome, and all of the areas that you go to are like very Snatcher-like. This town that you're in is called like Neo San Francisco, and the year is 2048, and it's got a lot of cyberpunk in it where people are shit. I can't think of the exact term that they use, but people are doing like a lot of cybernetic implants and stuff. So if a guy has like cancer, or whatever, he can get like an implant of a body part, and they've gotten so advanced.
Robot legs.
Yeah, that they're like replacing entire body parts, almost like to the point of even replacing brains now. And there's like these groups of terrorists slash like what do you want to call them? Like people that they do picket lines and stuff like that. They're doing like they bomb these places where they make these things, or like the factories that they make these, or whatever. And you're kind of in the midst of this whole thing, so you're trying to like help people that whoever you want to help, you help, and whichever side of this war you want to take, you can take. And the game starts off with you like being this kind of poor journalist guy who's writing for a website online, and the game it takes a very 1980s look at what the future is supposed to be like. So your computer makes all these horrible sounds, and everything's really slow, and it's like you have 120 megs of memory. Like, ooh, that's a lot, and this robot like breaks into your apartment, and it kind of goes from there. And it's, I don't know. Yeah, I like it a lot. It reminds me of playing Snatcher. It reminds me of like Police Knots a little bit, and it has like mini games and stuff just like Snatcher, where it's kind of like real quick twitch, like shooting things and whatever.
Justifier, man.
Yeah, you can use the Justifier. You can use the what was that? The Genesis. Was that the Justifier? Yeah, that was for for Lethal Enforcers.
That was a Justifier for Lethal Enforcers.
Yeah. Yep, for Lethal Justice, or was it Lethal Enforcers? That's it.
Yeah. Enforcers.
Yeah. So that's what I've been playing most recently. Was that and Koryun. How about you guys? Now I'm done jabbering.
I bought a bunch of games, but nothing that I played.
How's Henshin Engine?
Hell
Pretty
yeah.
good. Not so bad.
You gotta spill a little bit about this game that's in development, because I'm really freaking excited for that. I saw gameplay of it on YouTube, and I saw Rove, or as some people know him as Nadviet, sharing some stuff, and he's been working.
Call him Rover.
The old Rover, or David Lee Perry.
Yeah.
But he's been sharing some stuff with that and talking about how he's getting excited to work with it, and I'm like, holy crap, this is awesome.
Yeah, he's really hard at work at it right now. I think he's working on it right now as this is going on. We're trying to get a workable demo to have at the Turbo Room, so if we do get this demo done, the Turbo Room will be the first group of people to play it.
Dude, I'm so excited. We're gonna have a working demo of Catastrophe too.
Yeah, that's the rumor.
Yep. That's really funny. Gosh, that's gonna be super cool. I'm giddy. I'm like super excited about it.
Homebrew.
Yeah, there's so many games that are like in development that wasn't it Chuck Norrice that was like Toku's game that he was working on for God? Was that a Super Graphics game?
I don't know. I know that guy he loves working in. Super Graphics game out really bad.
Yeah, he had that Chuck Norris game that was like a one-on-one fighter game, and it's like if you go to YouTube and look it up, it looks fantastic. The game looks awesome, and he's got a couple other demos out of like parallax scrolling and all kinds of really cool stuff. And then I don't know, I just haven't heard anything new about that in like 2 years. It's sad.
Who
And
is
then
this?
what was that?
Who is this?
I think it's Tuoko or Touko on the forums. He's got, and then if you just Google Chuck No Rice or do a search for Chuck No Rice on the forums, it's like he's got a whole thread on it, and he was sharing like updates and things, and then it stopped. I'm sure it's still something that will happen eventually, but he was like talking about it, and he's really really nice, and he seemed like a totally cool guy. And then let's think. Okay, so there's that. There's Jungle Brothers and Equestria. Is that
Lucretia.
it? Lucretia, that's it.
Lucretia?
Equestria.
Lucretia.
My Little Pony kid or something?
So Lucretia is probably still going to happen.
I hope
That's,
Jungle Brothers still happens.
Lucretia's Rover's game.
Yep. And so is Jungle Brothers.
Yeah, I don't know about that. But
Jungle
I know
Brothers,
it's cool.
from what I understand, Jungle Brothers was like 80% done. And he moved, when he had the big move like a year and a half ago, that stuff kind of halted on that. But we've had a working demo of Jungle Brothers a couple times at Midwest Classic. It looks awesome. Like, it's a really, really pretty game. It's a mix of like regular platformer and like Castlevania or something crazy because you're using like a whip.
Okay. I think I saw some screenshots of it. It looked cool. I don't know that that's going to happen anymore. Maybe in the future. I know that Lucretia, that's going to be his priority while working on Henshin Engine. But right now his priority is Henshin Engine just to so we can get the demo out so
Nice.
people can play it. And then we're going to work on both games concurrent. So I'm going to do his sprite work and character art
That's so
for
cool.
Lucretia. Because what had happened, the reason it stopped is because his graphics person had dropped off the map. Like, he was just gone. And then
Yeah.
he resurfaced after I hopped on the project. He resurfaced for a bit. So, yeah, that's going to happen eventually.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I can't wait. That'll be so cool. I love the homebrew scene. I think it's fun. I've like, even if the games are like super simple and not, anything crazy, it's like so cool to see people making new games. I try to like buy every single one that I can just to support the, the community and things
Right.
like that. God, I think the only one I was ever really disappointed was one of the Mindwreck most recent one, which was
Meteor Blast?
Hypernova Blast, I think it's called.
I didn't play that one.
Well, it's interesting because I'm bringing it to the Midwest Classic because I want other people to play it. I have played it. I spent a couple hours with it. It's really tough to look at first because it seems like there's like 9 colors on the screen and there's no scrolling like at all. It's like really choppy. It's almost like the backgrounds in like East 3 or Ninja Gaiden. It's like the whole game looks like that. But after you spend some time with it, it's not like, you kind of get used to it. And the soundtrack is really good. That's something that Mindwreck has always done. He's always gotten like really good people to make music. It's just like a bunch of synth pop and like techno music and stuff like that, and it's really good. Just like, was an Implode he did, and then Meteor Blaster, and both those games have great soundtracks, and so it's tough for me to like sit and defend it because I don't think it's an amazing game by any means, but it's cool, and I want to support it so that he'll keep doing more work. And that's BT Garner. He was he's like the first homebrew developer for the PC Engine with Implode, and that was Implode is
like 1999 or 2000 or something, right? Like a long time ago.
2002.
Okay.
Yep, I have that one. I got that Meteor Blaster. I have Meteor Blaster, which was actually printed on CDRs, to which everybody was freaking out about that game ruining their duos and turbo CDs. And then he redid them again, like remastered them as a pressing in like 2010 or 11 or something, and he called those DX or whatever, and I got that. So I have the official pressing one that was done. And he did a deal for guys that wound up buying the original Meteor Blaster back in like 2004 or 5 or whenever it was, and he only charged like $19 for the new one, the DX one. So I got that. And it's awesome. I mean, Implode is just like one of those same games, like those old computer games where you just click on things to get rid of colors on the screen, and then Meteor Blaster is just asteroids, and Hypernova Blast is sort of Defender mixed with whatever. It's like a Commodore game that was a knockoff of it, where instead of just running around and killing everything, you're actually picking up people and moving them to the base and then dropping them again while you're dodging all the enemies and stuff.
Kind of like isn't Atlantean sort of like that?
Yes.
Speaking of homebrew.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna jump right into Arc stuff for like Atlantean. He's I don't even know if he's gonna get any more of his hue cards made or the AB cards. Because he's not taking any more orders for those on his website. The button doesn't work anymore. But he is taking orders for the downloadables. So I'm getting... I got a download of that game.
You didn't get the card, man? Are you kidding me?
I missed it. I did not get the card.
I didn't either.
I wasn't in a spot where I could drop $60 on a homebrew game.
Dude, I got one of each. And he didn't even want to sell me the other one.
Wow.
Because he was like, let all these people get their orders in, and like he had like, he was sitting like on 20 unpaid invoices. And like,
right, yeah, I remember that.
I remember that too. Yeah, he was like,
so I was like, dude, just sell me one. They're not gonna pay you. I said, all right, whatever.
Yeah. That's a really pretty game. The parallax scrolling and everything in that game is really good.
The music is amazing. The one track is amazing, and the boss track.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I hope somebody brings that to the Midwest Classics. I'd like to actually sit down and play that for a while. But I think if I ever get an EverDrive or something, I'll just put it on there, and then I'll have it on the actual system. It's interesting because there has been conversation between some of the guys in Turbo Reproductions and Arc about doing Atlantean, a run like that, and selling them like that, and Arc said no. He wouldn't be okay with that, so they're not going to do that. But the Turbo Reproductions hue cards that are coming out are really nice too. They're not 3D printed; they're hand put together. They're pretty nice.
They had to 3D print those, so they were paying to, shave down all the, the weird edges on it. So
yeah,
in case it was 3D printed, so I'm sure it was a nightmare.
I can't imagine. Yeah, it's crazy, and they look really cool, and I like the turquoise blue on them or whatever. But
I don't know. I think hue cards are an expensive way to go if you're trying to get into homebrew. But it's
true.
Cool if you can pull it off.
It's true. You can technically put more on a hue card, and it doesn't have the memory size. But I mean, some games are bigger, like 20 meg. Like Street Fighter 2 was a huge hue card, and I don't know if that could even have been done on CD.
Maybe arcade card.
Fighting Street made it to CD.
What was that?
It said Fighting Street made it to CD.
Yes, it did. The best version of Fighting Street ever, too.
The soundtrack's so good.
I love the soundtrack. I think the soundtrack is worth it alone. It's like, I love that game. So, okay. What are some other gaming events or gatherings that you guys go to? Now, Saru, I know you're a big fan of was it Level Up Expo?
Right, so I'm their design manager, so I do like all their pamphlet and whatever. So we're going to show off Henshin Engine there too, which will be cool. I'm actually getting Rover to come out so that he can present it.
That is awesome. When is that?
That's in May 15th and the 16th.
Wow.
14th and 15th, I believe.
That's so
Whatever
cool.
the Saturday and Sunday falls on. I think it's 14th and 15th.
Nice. Oh, are there any game conventions in Nazi Germany?
Now, Atlanta's got Anime Weekend Atlanta is pretty huge.
Yeah.
But it's not really gaming, it's just Weeaboo Fest. They've got everything.
Right.
They've
It's a different crowd for sure.
Yeah, the MGC. Yeah, if you're thinking of something like MGC, I don't know, PAX East, I guess would be close.
What about MagFest? Isn't that down there?
Yeah, that's Majors would know about that. I've never been to that.
That's one that Majors is constantly.
Yeah, that's his
constantly
bread and
talking.
butter, man. That's where he's taking his cab.
He's like, skip MGC, go to MagFest.
Well, he's going
back
to.
over.
He's a busy dude. I'd love to get him on the show because he's like, he must do at least 1 or 2 every month because he's got this cab business where he brings all his cabs to all those places and gets some cash for it.
I saw that.
He's busy.
You got
He's
lure
effort to.
your works.
Yeah, what's it? I can't even think of what he's got like a company name or something like that.
Widoka.
Yep. That's it.
That's it.
But yeah, he's a busy dude. I asked him one time about bringing cabs to the Midwest Classic, and he was like, he'll never do that because it's obviously you can't drive that far. I mean, you could, but it'd be miserable.
He's taking them pretty far. I don't know how far to take them.
But he's gotten really good money for that.
Yeah, that's the only reason he moves them is they pay him.
Yep.
So
but
he's flying to MGC?
Yes, he does. He usually asks somebody to come pick him up from the hotel. He usually waits till the day of for some reason. Like starts texting people like, "Somebody come get me."
Seems like a nice guy. He offered to let me stay in his room with him, and I was like, "Oh, it's okay, but thank you. It's really cool of you."
Majors is an awesome guy. You will love him when you meet him. He is loud and obnoxious and drunk.
Yeah, he seems nice though.
Him and Null together are really funny.
That's cool.
Yeah, stay with Noel. He'll rape you.
He's supposed to sleep on my floor, I think, on Friday.
See how that ends.
Yeah. I was last year. I had brought 4 other guys with, and after I finally closed up the turbo room, like on Friday night or Saturday night, it was like 3 a.m. And I just opened the door into the room, and it was so stinky. Like just a bunch of guys sweating and farting. And I was like, "This sucks."
Oh, no.
I think I laid down on the floor, or curled up in a ball somewhere, and slept until like 6:30, and then got up and took a shower and left. It was awful.
Everybody else is asleep.
So I hope that doesn't happen this year. I only got 3 other guys with me this time, so hopefully there'll be less.
We want people to want to come into the room if the room smells like BL.
Oh, I'm not talking about the Turbo Fest room. I'm talking about the
okay.
our own hotel room.
Oh.
No. The Turbo room is great. There's no issues there.
Yeah, there's a flow. They keep the door open so the air is coming in and out of there.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
good.
Yep. And it's interesting. We're right at the entrance to the main vendor hall, and across the hall from the really, really big vendors that I shouldn't say big vendors, but they're the vendors that pay a lot more money and they actually get to stay inside the hotel, like in the hotel rooms, and like Windy Games and a few other guys, like the big arcade sellers and stuff like that.
Bar top guys.
Yep. They stay inside, and so whenever those doors open, sometimes they leave them open, but I'm assuming this year, since it's going to be so freaking cold, they're not going to. But whenever those doors open, you get that breeze that comes through, and it just comes right in the turbo room, and it's like, God damn. So cold. So that's the problem with having such a big show in the early spring in Wisconsin, because we have all of the seasons, and it's usually cold. But yeah, if they would have had the show,
Though. I'm super excited.
It's so much fun. Like it's this. I go to a couple local shows. There's one in January that I go to called EverCon. That's around 1,000 people. I go to the Midwest Classic. This year, I'm actually hosting a retro gaming room at the Grand Theater in Wausau, Wisconsin. That's actually next Wednesday that I have to do that. That's from 5 to 10 p.m. Not as big,
Oh, wow.
not like a game convention thing, but it's definitely like a gathering or an event that I'm doing. And we're just doing 10 systems. I'm going to bring 10 old TVs and 10 systems and stuff set up. It's for a guy who composes music, and he apparently uses video games and movies as his inspiration. and he contacted the Grand Theater about getting video games in the lobby or whatever outside of the theater area, and they contacted me through a guy that works for the theater as a director or a musician or something that met me at EverCon. So it's like this person told this person, and all of a sudden I got an email. It was like, hey, are you interested in doing this thing? And it's like, sure, and I'm doing that. And then later in the summer, I go to Gen Con, and then my own little shindig that I throw together in December called LinkCon, or Pizza and Games.
I get invited every year, but I can't make it.
This time it's on Labor Day weekend, so you should just come up.
Show up.
Just show up, man. It'd be fun.
You should go to MGC, Opie.
He usually does.
I do. It's an even year.
It's like missing the 1 year that I'm going.
You're not going to go next year?
Last year, or in 14, and I missed him, and that's the only year he's ever been.
That's alright. I guess we'll just have to wait till next year then. I'm actually thinking about setting up a vendor booth next year.
Look at you. Selling engine.
I did a vendor table in 2008. And that was when I was selling off my video game collection. I paid $65 for my vendor table and made $3,500 that year.
Wow, that's cheap.
Why you're so rich?
That is not why I'm so rich. I had oh my god, dude. I sold that. I can just think of that weekend. I sold Dracula X for like $50. I sold Beyond Shadowgate for $100. I sold Dungeon Explorer 2 for like $150. Now at the time, I'm like,
high prices at the time.
I'm thinking like $150. That's like my water bill, you know. And that's the whole reason I was doing this, because I was behind on so many payments, and I was going through divorce, and oh my god, it was just a miserable time. But that was the only time I ever did a vendor table there. That was a lot of fun. I got to meet a lot of people. That was really cool. A lot of the Turbo guys and stuff came and talked to me.
It would be fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, I know. I think Nectarsis has got some of my games, and
Yeah. Is he?
No.
Is he? He goes every year, doesn't he?
he'll be there. He lives right there. He lives like in Madison. He's like half an hour away or something. He'll be there. Him and Majors and Jeff Lewis and there's a lot of people not going to be there, but there'll be a good chunk of people. It sounds like there's going to be a lot of new people this year. I mean, just the people on the forums that we're talking about, or the people on Facebook we're talking about that are on the forums that didn't even really know us. But like the last couple of years in the Turbo Room, I've always tried to tell people about the PC Engine FX forums and then ask them if they're a part of it. And usually they'll say like, nah, or I'm just on Facebook, or they're on NeoGeo.com.
Yeah.
Yeah,
On those forums.
And Neo Geo coming this year that I probably won't get to meet.
Yeah.
A lot of people are afraid of the forums for whatever reason. Like they're scared.
The PCFX forums?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, there's a lot of the
Especially,
regulars will jump on people really
right.
quick.
That's the thing too, is that PC EFX has a lot of really hardcore members, and then you have, casual people who are on Facebook who just want to like casually play games or collect, and then they hop on and they're afraid of saying something stupid and getting ripped to shreds.
Like, I want to buy Magical Chase.
I know. And that happens.
Hey,
We're like,
what's this Magical
Chase?
The worst thing is jumping in your first post being either I'm selling a whole bunch of stuff that I found, and I looked up the eBay prices, and now I know how much they're worth, and I'm going to sell them for this much, or else the other guy who's like, oh, I just happened to run into the TurboGrafx and I want one, and I've got, money is no worries. I will pay this crazy price for all these games.
My checkbook is open.
Yeah, I will pay anything for this.
But those guys drive the price up because they got to have it.
Yep,
Yep,
and then usually the first.
And then they buy them.
The first responses are always someone saying that to them, and they're like, "You guys are dicks," and then they leave.
Yeah.
It's like,
Screw you guys. 3 posts later, they're done.
yeah, it's kind of funny.
It is.
So, yeah, Gen Con, I go to in Indianapolis, which is a very, 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 very big convention. The last year's, which we went to, was 62,000 people. And it's kind of an all-encompassing gaming fair that started out as just role-playing and card games and board games and stuff. And it grows and it grows and it grows. And now there's events with like plays and musicals, or just like comedy events. There's video gaming events. There's music events. It's growing so big that it's like a Comic-Con / cosplay / anime convention / man. I mean, there's so much card games, board games, video games, role-playing games. And they separate it up into all these different areas. Like they take over the Indianapolis Convention Center, which is also the Lucas Oil Stadium, like where the Indianapolis Colts play. It used to be the RCA Dome. And they take over all of downtown. All of the surrounding hotels are all connected to it, and there are events and different companies that kind of run each one. Like Wizards of the Coast is there, and so is Hasbro. Well, that's actually the same company. Wizards of the Coast is owned by Hasbro, but then there's like Konami and like all these other big companies run all these other events and other hotels, and it's like crazy. The whole downtown turns into like gaming nerd like heaven. You can just dress up as a dork and walk around, and all the bars are gaming related, and there's like
cool.
It's super fun. That's the one convention that I go to where I have no like strings attached. I don't work. I don't do anything there. I don't have to participate and help and run things. I just go and party and drink and have a really good time with friends and stuff. And I always try to get as many people to go as possible, but it's a little bit more expensive. And Indianapolis is kind of a destination for some people. For me, it's 8.5, 9-hour drive.
Damn.
But it's,
He's like, oddly.
I know, right? That's not so bad for most of you guys. I mean, I'm still just driving 2 states over, but oh god, it's like my favorite thing in the world. That's like super super fun convention, and it was funny because what's that?
Do they get a big turnout? Like, how does that type of convention work for them, where they have several different things?
You mean like numbers? Last year. The last 3 years they've gone up in attendance. Last year they had 62,000 people.
No kidding! Wow.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah,
it's really insane. I looked into a vendor table one year, and that was $5,000 for the weekend.
That means that they probably get so much foot traffic that they know that they could charge that much for a table.
There's smaller spots, and then there's also like off-venue spots, like those hotels outside of town, or that are connected via skywalks or whatever, that are a lot cheaper. But to be in the actual vendor or exhibit hall, it's like $5,000 for a table.
Wow.
And in 2013, my wife and I was in the video game e-game arena, they call it. They have like retro games and new games and all kinds of stuff. And they had this retro game area, and it was the most pathetic thing. It's so funny because going to Midwest Classic and seeing those retro games, and then going to this and seeing they had like a Nintendo and a Genesis, and they actually had a 3DO, which I was really shocked by, but it wasn't working, and a Saturn and a couple other things. And I got to talking to the guy that was running it, and I just started like doing my shit where I'm like, next year I could bring up like 4 CRTs, and I'll bring like TurboGrafx, and I'll bring all this stuff. And he's like, yeah, this would be awesome.
What's a TurboGrafx?
What's a TurboGrafx? Did you hear about the Super Garpix? But after the convention, I exchanged a couple emails with him, and he's like, yeah, so we can get you in, then we can, if you want to run things, you want to do some things, and I'm like, what am I doing? I mean, this is the only show I go to every year where I don't have to work it, and it's like, dude. And I just told him I wasn't interested anymore. This is such a bad idea to drive 8.5, 9 hours with all these TVs and games and stuff, and it's like, I'm gonna drag my wife and kids along with me to do this. So.
Oh man, it sounds like so much fun. Sounds like the best time.
If I was gonna do a vendor thing, maybe like that'd be fun. But I'd come up with some kind of an idea.
About $5,000.
That's
Yeah.
right, $5,000.
Come up with a ton of money. Yeah.
So you just need more inventory. You're thinking about it all wrong.
Yeah, I'll just bring a ton of stuff. I don't even know what I would sell though. I guess if I was going to sell
Dude,
games
look
or
behind
something.
you. Look behind you. There's the answers to all your dreams.
Yep.
Oh,
These are
books.
cherry bobs.
These are books. There's some.
Ow.
There were something.
Yeah, they're worth something. There's some crappy books and stuff.
Yes.
But I don't know. Midwest Classics coming up, and I'm excited. That'll be fun.
I'm excited.
It's a lot of fun, but that is a work weekend, dude. Like we're gonna be there Thursday night, and then Friday morning we're gonna be setting up stuff all day.
Yeah, man, you're not gonna have Beamer and people that actually work there. So I wonder. It's gonna be kind of curious to see how that's gonna work.
Right?
Is
Matt is there, but he's not exactly in the best health. He hurt himself, 6 months ago, I think. So he's like I don't know if he's gonna come in with a walking cane or something. But yeah.
How late do you think you'll be there setting up on Friday?
Well, our hotel's there. Like I'm staying in the hotel.
Oh, okay.
So I will never leave. From Thursday night until Sunday night, I'm not leaving. The turbo room usually doesn't close. It closes when either the security guards tell us to, you need to close these doors or something, or else if I'm falling asleep on a chair. Because that happened last year when I think I was telling this story a couple weeks ago with I think there was a couple NeoGeo.com guys that came in there and they were talking and talking and talking, and I was sitting on a folding chair and I had my arms on the back of it. I was sitting backwards and I actually fell asleep.
Oh wow.
Sitting there, but I was so tired. I was just like, oh my gosh, I could not stay awake. But then we closed it. Yeah. Yeah, he keeps jumping off and on. What's going on, man?
You on the wireless?
I don't know.
On them Wi-Fi's?
I don't know. He's wireless, but yeah, that'll be fun. I'm excited. I have a couple of your sample T-shirts, Mr. Saramaru-san. I'm going to bring that to the turbo room to give out as prizes. Those will be cool.
Yeah, I'll try to bring out some more pins with me and stuff like that, so that I can carry on the plane with me.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
I think Null's going to bring some duophile stuff to hand out too, so that's really cool.
Oh, that is cool. I kind of want one of those mugs.
I want a mug, or else I want a hat. I want one of those two things. I got a mouse pad, I think, last year, and I don't even know what I did with it. But and the first thing I'm thinking to myself is, why the fuck did I take a mouse pad? I want a baseball cap or something cool.
Yeah.
I think we did lose hope, but
I think it's having internet issues.
Yeah. So any last things you want to chat about before we talk about, or before we get to the packing? Because I got everything that I need to bring to Midwest Classic packed and ready to go. I just have to pack them into vehicles, and I'm not going to do that a couple days early because our overnights have been in the low 30s, like cold, too damn cold to have stuff outside. So I'm waiting for that actual Thursday day to pack up all my stuff and just start driving.
How long's the drive?
Almost 3 hours.
Oh, it's not too bad.
No, it's not bad at all. It's not bad. Milwaukee's like 2.5, 3 hours, and Brookfield's just outside of that, so you don't have to go downtown or anything.
Oh, good.
It's easy peasy.
Well, I'm definitely excited. The only other convention that I've been to that I think is similar to this one was Portland Retro Gaming Expo. So I'm somewhat expecting something similar. That's OP.
Oh, you went to the Portland Retro Game Expo?
I did. I went there last year.
So what was that like?
It was cool. It was a whole lot of all the HollyTubers were there. You know, like I got to meet. I met up with Joe Redifer and got to give him a T-shirt, which was cool. And
did you say HollyTubers? You said HollyTubers?
I did.
That's so funny. Yeah, it was like Pat there. Pat Concha.
Yeah, Pat was there, and
John Lester.
Yep. Gamester
81.
Yep, he was there.
He was at MGC last year, I think.
Oh, was
Yeah,
it?
yeah, yep.
He had
Yeah,
an entourage with him.
he wasn't there very long though. He only came down for 1 day or something like that. I don't
Yeah, I'm
know.
going to his con in whenever that happens. August, I think, is when his convention happens.
That's not Retropalooza. Retropalooza is in
That's
August
it.
or September.
This is Game On in Arizona.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, he runs that, I believe.
Yeah, do you ever watch like NES Pursuit or any of Retro Liberty's stuff?
Um, I've seen a couple.
They do really good coverage of those conventions. They do like a good 20, 30-minute video of like everything that goes on. And they did like the Portland Retro Gaming, they did Retropalooza, they did, I think they went to Game On last year. That was the one that John Lester was running. He like ran that and got like 1,500 people or something like that to that one.
Yeah, that was their first year.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
they're
really,
expecting
really
a lot
cool.
more this year.
Right?
Yeah.
These
So
game
it should be
conventions,
fun.
these like retro game conventions are kind of the hot commodity right now.
Yeah, well, retro's back in now. You know, people want to play retro stuff because a lot of games nowadays are shit. So
It's
they
true.
want to go back to formulas that worked and games that were fun.
Yeah. Which means that the common man is playing our TurboGrafx. So
No, you got people like, see ya, bud, getting into TurboGrafx.
see ya, bud.
Go back to your iOS games.
Oh god.
But there's Flappy Birds on TurboGrafx. It's called Atlantean.
I think somebody was making like a demo. I think on the Turbo of Flappy Bird, right?
Yep.
I saw that
Ah,
somewhere.
is that?
Might have been Tuco.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, that's the guy who was doing Chuck No Rice. Is he also a part of that like 48-hour game challenge, or is that Cabbage? That might be Cabbage.
That's probably Cabbage. He
Cabbage
does a
did.
lot of little homebrew stuff.
Yeah, he
Dude's
did.
working on a translation of Shadowland.
Is it Shadowlands?
No, but that was the joke. I said, hey, can you change the title screen to say Shadowlands? And he
Oh,
did.
that's right. Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. The Shadowlands. It's
Dude,
Shadowlands. Shut the hell up.
Right, dude. Runyon was right.
You can run, but you cannot hide. Yeah, Cabbage did those 48-hour coding challenges where you have 48 hours to whip together a game, and he did Island Adventure, which was like a little bit of a play on Ys with the gameplay style, where you're running around in an adventure setting. And
I saw that. It had a frame and everything. Very
yeah, it's
simple.
awesome. I did a video of a gameplay of that one. That was a lot of fun. It's a good game.
Hell yeah.
Where's the HughCast, Josh? When is HughCast coming back?
When is HughCast coming back? Maybe when I get some time.
Yeah.
4 mics.
You know, I got a lot of music. I could put together something. I just don't want it to be kind of, I don't know. I
Get
mean,
on that
there's
vaporwave, man. Get on that vaporwave.
vaporwave. What's that? I like to look through a lot of, and I'm jumping way off topic here because I know we're not talking about conventions, but like
My
older.
bad.
No, it's not a big deal. But like games that no one would even think to pick up the soundtrack for or to even listen to. Something I was recently listening to was Project D, I think it's called, or Project something. It's a racing game. No, Project F. Project F. It's a racing game, but it has really good music. Like it has really, really good music.
Like Wipeout.
No, not like Wipeout. It's more like just 90s like guitar and like synth pop and stuff, and that and there's a couple soccer games. There's a whole bunch of soccer games that came out on the PC Engine, and some of them actually have really good soundtracks.
What about
So I was
the
kinda-
Kunio Sucker?
Kunio Soccer does have really good music too. That's a good game. But I have like Tecmo Super Soccer, and there was one World Cup '94 that I was recently playing, and I was like, this has got good music too. I mean, all the Turbo CD games, for the most part, all have good music.
Yeah, a lot of random games too.
Ranma?
or random, like mahjong games have pretty good soundtracks.
That's true. Yep.
We wouldn't normally just pick up a mahjong game and be like, oh, play it.
Yeah, but you could listen to music for it for sure. Yep.
Yeah.
Greatest soundtrack right there.
Sorcerian, yeah.
Sorcerian.
Greatest soundtrack ever.
So what is that? Is that an old PC game?
It's the MSX version.
Oh, okay.
MSX. Nice.
That was the 68 billion.
The 68K. 68KK. So do you have an MSX?
Yeah, I've got a Turbo R and a one-chip clone that some guy made in Spain.
Wow. That's crazy. I always wanted an MSX.
I know it's not for everybody. Some people look at it and say, well, the SMS versions were better.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like the last 8-bit PC, so it's pretty close to Nintendo as far as some of the quality of games like that Konami and other companies put out.
Yeah, I played a really large chunk of the Castlevania that came out for it. That was single screen at a time. So you go through one screen and you go to the next, and then you go to the next screen. And I actually really liked the way that played. That was pretty awesome.
It doesn't work
if anyone. You think there'll be any MSXs on display?
There should be.
Yeah, that one guy in the classic computer. What's the guy's name? The other guy that does it with JD.
Monty or
The guy that does the computer stuff.
Marty Goldberg.
Yeah, he's got a friend that he brought an MSX and a flash cart the last 2 times I was there.
Yep.
So there'll be one there.
Yep, there'll be MSX. There'll be in addition to the museum area, there's a museum of computers area as well. So the MSX is there, and so is the 68K.
Yeah.
All kinds of stuff. We'll have all that stuff set up.
You might have a PC 98 there this year. Who knows?
Maybe. That'd be pretty sweet.
Never know.
You never know.
He's trying to sell me on the 68K, saying that I should get it if I like PC Engine. I'll love the 68K way more, blah, 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 blah. For me, I have a hard time playing a system that I didn't grow up with or had some sort of relation to growing up. It's hard for me to just pick up a system and start collecting for it. There had to be something, it had to be introduced to me somehow.
You get an emulator and figure it out, and trust me, you'll find tons of games.
Yeah, that was
emulators.
There's some fusion games that are pretty awesome too.
Yeah, the first time I played, did you say Mugen?
Who, me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, fusion games, fan-made games.
There was an emulator for the MSX called the Blue MSX.
That's the best one.
That I played a whole lot of, 10 years. Well, I don't know if it was 10 years ago, but a while ago, and that made me really, really want to get into MSX. And I mean, I got out of so much of my gaming collection or library during shortly after that I never even thought about jumping back into MSX or even looking for it. But
you got to get a flash card because the games are even more unaffordable. They're almost like AES games.
Yeah, the prices are ridiculous.
That's gross. That's gross.
Yeah, but luckily the flash card plays disc games, so it's not a loss. You'll be able to play everything.
That's cool. That's cool. I like that.
Quick question: what are prices normally? You mentioned eBay earlier. Is it really that bad at these conventions, or do you find yourself when you go finding fairly decent deals at some of these vendors?
I find lots of good deals at the vendors because, I mean, Windy Games, first off, his stuff is always below eBay prices, and he's always willing to help or willing to make deals. Carlton's the same way with Mad Gear. His stuff is priced pretty comparable to what you'd see on eBay, but if you put a stack of 5 games in front of him, he would give you 20% off on each game, or whatever. You're going to get some really good deals. But what I tend to do when I first go through the vendor hall is there's all the big vendors. There's Johnny C's, and then there's Carlton, and there's all these big ones that are all they got all the you know, they got all stuffed animals, and they got like stacks of video games, and they got you know, they got boxed consoles, sealed games, and all this kind of stuff. And then you see that one dude who's got like 5 boxes, and he's just kind of setting up his own personal collection, and he's probably just trying to pay off his bills like I did in 2008. And you go up and you hit up that guy, and you go for like the smaller guy. That's where I tend to kind of just find like real hidden gems, because they just are, they don't want to go back home with as much shit that they brought with them. And man, I'm still not like the biggest fan of the Genesis, but like, man, I don't think it was last year, maybe it was 2 years ago, but I swear I picked up like 20 Genesis games from this one dude who was just like, every game I'd hold up, and he'd be like, I don't know, $2. You know, like, okay, I don't know, $3. Like, this is a box Phantasy Star 2, and he's like, yeah, $5. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, this is awesome, and I just kept piling stuff up, and I went back to the Turbo Room with all these Genesis games, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with all this crap.
Trader.
Yeah.
That's
But,
cool.
There's so
Thanks,
many
Ben.
people. There's so many people in there that you'll find stuff for sure.
PC Engine stuff?
Oh yeah,
Oh.
Yeah, a lot of PC Engine stuff.
yeah.
Outside of the Turbo Room?
Oh yeah, Mad Gear. He's got his half his shop. I mean, he does like 8-bit and 16-bit import gaming. So half his stuff is Nintendo Famicom, and the other half is PC Engine.
Sweet.
Yeah, he usually has some big games for any system.
So he'll have your Sapphires and Rondos.
That one.
I don't know if he'll have Sapphire, because he was always very iffy on that one, because it's so hard to tell between the bootleg and the real one.
No, it's not.
It's super easy to tell.
Tobias has gotten much better. Apparently, you guys don't even know which ones are the real ones, which ones are the fake ones anymore.
I bought it last year. I know it's real.
Yeah, there's a few. You'll find a few, and then there's a couple guys who have like TurboGrafx stuff, and you just look at that and go, oh my god, $40 for Power Girl.
Yeah.
Which is with Pepsi Challenge.
Your camera is so that it's hard to see. Let's see.
All of our cameras are.
I think it's just the stream.
This is the fake one
Is it?
because it's purpley looking.
Well, let's see. Try to guess.
So wait, did you have the case made by Sparky?
No, this
That's
is
it. The
Oh, you
actual
talking about
Tobias one.
Oh, you did the hoodwinked thing, huh? Or did you do it afterwards, where he had the cases and stuff? Wasn't it like $60 or something like that?
He had like some like 3-pack with like Rockman and Sapphire and some other thing.
Space Fantasy Zone.
Yeah, Space Fantasy
I
Zone.
bought.
Did it come from that one?
I
Was it
supported
that
terrorism.
bundle?
Say what?
I think he's asking if it was that pack, like that
Yeah, it was that. If it was that 3-pack.
that bundle.
Yeah, I supported terrorism.
No, the way I got my, well, I quote, got my Sapphire, my bootleg, was when Tobias and BMW made that deal for all the spools of Sapphires, yeah. So I got like a bunch of those, and then gave away all the extras that I had at MGC to people for high score challenges and stuff. And then Sparky made Sparky labels for the Sapphires. Then they all say "fuck eBay Club" or whatever on them. And I just made. He sent me those, and I put it together, and now I got my own little bootleg Sapphire case. And I mean, for me, that's good enough. I'll have that with at MGC. We were talking about which games we were all bringing and what events we're going to be running, and I was thinking to myself, I only had to bring like 7 games for the museum this year. Like, I don't know if I just didn't claim as much as for whatever reason, or if I missed the claims list this year when other people were signing up before I was. So I was like, man, I don't have a whole lot of stuff. I should probably cut back on how many TurboGrafx games I bring too, because other people are going to bring all this stuff too.
Yeah.
I always bring too many. I'll bring 30 games and we'll only play like 10 of them or whatever. So I started going through my stuff, and I was filling up a box full of games to bring, and then I realized after I went through and counted them all, I have about 50 games this time.
Oh, wow.
So I'm
Just
not
can't
counting.
decide, huh? You just, this
Yeah,
game.
I just
Oh,
can't.
I had so much fun with this one. But the soundtrack in this one's so great.
I know, right? I might just want to listen to this while I'm sitting there.
That's
So,
cool.
yeah, we're going to have a lot of stuff going with. But anyway, this has been a good time. We've just rambled on about random things, all the way from Tobias to Arcan, who is in Japan right now again.
That's true. With
Lucky
copies
bastard.
of Atlantean.
Japan.
He's in Japan with copies of Atlantean?
Well, he said last time he was going to go back to Beep to give them some copies of Atlantean because they sold them all.
That's really awesome.
Yeah. It's a store in Akihabara called Beep that he took some copies to.
No way, that's so crazy.
I want to go to Japan.
I do too. More than you can ever imagine.
It's a lot of fun.
I want to do another episode sometime soon where you just teach me everything that you can about going to Japan and how to talk to people and how to react and what I should expect and things like that.
That'd be fun because we kind of went off the rails that first show because I didn't know what to expect too, and it was the first time I'd ever been.
That was
on.
the first time you were on, so we just wanted to
talk. So yeah, that'd be cool.
You could do this, and then we just talked about the forums and how much of a jerk Null is and stuff.
Hey.
Anyway, yep. I think that this is good. This has been good. This has been a good chatty. Thank you guys for being a part of it. Saru Maru-san. Thanks for being a part of the fatty chat this week.
The fatty chat.
Mr. Opethian, I appreciate it. You ate the metal slug candy.
Whoa, hey.
Right?
Heavy machine gun. Anyway,
Shameless
thank you
plug.
guys.
Shameless
Rocket
plug.
lawn chair.
Henshin engine. Whoa.
What's a hand shin?
What's a hand chin?
Is that like Crayon Shin-Chan?
Crayon Shin Chan with boobs.
Nice. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. Thank you, everyone else, for listening. I hope you were educated or edumacated, and if you are thinking about coming to the Midwest Classic, you should check us out in the Turbo Fest room. I'll be taking pictures and videos and all kinds of fun stuff in there, and hope to share all that fun stuff with you guys in the coming weeks. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. Opethian, behave yourself. I hope you have a good weekend. Sarumaru-san, we will see you... When are you going to be there? Thursday? Friday?
I'm getting there Friday night.
Sweet.
Like
We'll see you
8 o'clock.
Friday night then.
Yep.
Cool, man. All right, behave yourselves, guys. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Later.
Yeah.